Nigeria is Africa's most populated country, and it's also the country responsible for making all the noise on the continent. In this video, we're going to put together what all the noise is about and decide if we should take notice or ignore all the noise. Whether it be entertainment, business, or jolloff, a cuisine perfected by Nigerians, or something else like business or infrastructure, Nigerians have mastered the art of seeking attention. Becoming arguably the most recognized African passport around the world, it only begs to ask the question, how did a country that was completely caught up in years of civil war and military rule only a few decades ago rise to such prominence? The answer, well, it's a little complicated. Taking a short trip down memory lane, the country initially gained its independence from Great Britain on October 1, 1960. About 3 years later, it formed into the Republic of Nigeria. Unfortunately, due to the ethnic and regional tensions, the government was never stable, and by 1967 they were on the verge of civil war only 4 years after the republic was formed, which led to a period of several governments being formed, ultimately failing due to one of the greatest challenges Nigeria continues to face till this very day: corruption. Political instability led to a military government taking over the territory by 1983, putting Major General Muhammadu Buhari in charge. Muhammadu Buhari is Nigeria's current president, but his initial reign as leader of Nigeria was cut short after he fell out of favor with the military, and just 2 years later, in 1985, he was replaced by General Ibrahim Babangida. But as the story would go, Babangida and his predecessors established what could only be described as a cruel and despicable corrupt military regime that persisted for 13 years until 1998, when the then ruler Sani Abacha died, and his predecessor Abdulsalami Abubakar took over, promising to revolutionize Nigeria and transfer power back to the people. And transfer power he did. On May 29, 1999, he transferred power to the elected President Olusegun Obasanjo. And from then, we can say the rest is history, as Nigeria fully started to emerge as a force to be reckoned with in Africa. Now let's talk numbers. Since its independence, the population of Nigeria has increased a staggering 362%, summing up to about 208 million people today from around 45 million in 1960. Wow, that's a whole lot of people. This figure is more than double the current country in second place, the DRC. This remarkable growth has been triggered by so many factors, namely high birth rates caused by early marriages and large families, and summed up with decreasing mortality rates due to improvements in healthcare. This massive population growth is projected to continue, as its population is said to surpass Brazil, Indonesia, Pakistan, and even the USA. This would make Nigeria the third most populated country in the world, behind China and India. In fact, by the year 2100, its population is projected to reach around 733 million people. This rapid population boom will present roadblocks to economic growth. However, not undermining the potential opportunities, Nigeria could very well just manage to spin this around. Here are some points to back this up, as the country's economy continues to expand dramatically. Just to put this in perspective, from 2000 to 2019, Nigeria's GDP by purchasing power rose a remarkable 282%, that is figuratively from around $282 billion to over $1 trillion. This figure simply makes it the largest economy in Africa. This rapid growth is also tied to the growth of Nigeria's industrial and service sectors, with a large amount of cheap young labor and a huge domestic market manufacturing in Nigeria. The banking and telecommunications services have as well recorded massive growth. Although Nigerians will tell you different, the country still has very poor infrastructure, though huge investments are being made in that domain. Included in these investments are a $2.7 billion railway in Abuja, an $8.3 billion railway to connect Lagos and Kano in the north, an $11 billion railway connecting Lagos and Calabar. Other areas of infrastructure include the $5.8 billion Mambilla hydroelectric power plant in eastern Nigeria and the $1.65 billion Lekki Deep Seaport outside of Lagos. You may have also heard that Nigeria is also planning to construct some brand new cities which are to invite investors into the Nigerian real estate market. These cities include a $6 billion tiny city to be built off the coast of Lagos, Also, there have been talks of the Centenary City, which is an $18 billion construction project in the making. These investments are Nigeria's shot at becoming an African superpower and a world power. As of the making of this video, it's projected that Nigeria's GDP by purchasing power will reach $4.35 trillion by 2050, and yes, that's trillion with a T. This meteoric rise in purchasing power will correspond to a GDP per capita of around $10,800 compared to just over $5,000 today. This economic growth also accounts for the fact that its military might has risen significantly for almost 2 decades. Nigeria has maintained a defense budget of around 0.5% of the GDP. If this continues, its defense will only go along in the same trajectory as its economy, giving the country a truly powerful military. As mentioned earlier, Nigeria's population growth will only increase the country's manpower. And of course, Nigeria's foreign influence will skyrocket, and they won't only be noisemakers on the continent, but might have something to bring to the table. If you haven't been living under a rock for the past 2 decades, then you're very familiar with just how much the Nigerian entertainment industry has grown. Nollywood, Nigeria's film industry, has grown into the world's second-largest movie industry, second only to India's Bollywood in terms of output. Its movies have caught the eye of a growing audience throughout the continent and internationally as well. And as Nollywood expands, it is slowly exporting Nigerian culture and Nigerian stories around the world, just like Hollywood has done for the United States, expanding the nation's cultural influence around the globe. And if you thought its film industry was something, then get ready, because its music industry is taking the world by storm. Nigerian songs like the infamous Love Wantinti by CK, and artists like Yemi Alade, Wizkid, Davido, D'banj, Tekno, Tiwa Savage, Burna Boy. Many of these musicians have collaborated with top artists from around the world, including Drake, Nicki Minaj, and Ed Sheeran, and this music industry only seemed to expand even more. Nigeria is gradually transforming into a superpower. However, its path to that status doesn't look to be an easy one, as it is currently facing a lot of challenges despite all the recent growth. Probably at the top of that list would be terrorism. Since the insurgence of Boko Haram in 2009, the terrorist group has been a menace to northwestern Nigeria and killing tens of thousands of Nigerians and allegedly displacing over 2 million. Unless the terrorists can be completely wiped out, the country will continue to experience terrorism and development will be hampered. Another major problem facing Nigeria is overpopulation. If overpopulation surpasses economic development, then poverty will skyrocket from its already super high level. But fortunately, Nigeria's population growth rate has started declining in recent years. The country will also have to deal with climate change. Lagos, Nigeria's largest city, is currently at a very low elevation from sea level, which in the case of rising sea levels every year will lead to flooding in the coming years. Climate change is increasing the frequency of droughts in the north and putting large amounts of crop plants in jeopardy. As earlier mentioned, the country is still pretty much tied up in so much corruption, and its current president, Muhammadu Buhari, started a crackdown on corruption. From 2016 to 2021, nearly 700 Nigerian public figures have been convicted on corruption charges. On top of all these, inequality, unemployment, and lack of education continue to plague the country. Around an appalling 40% of Nigerians live under $1 a day. Lastly, the COVID-19 pandemic has also hit Nigeria's economy hard, and this will also hinder economic growth in the short term. They're in the right direction and are putting in all the work to get there. However, due to some of the facts pointed out in this video, Nigerians should take a chill pill, cause they're not out of the water yet, and so many issues have to be addressed as they struggle to become a superpower. So, what do you guys think? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Are Nigerians making the right noises on the continent, or is it just pride over nothing? If you enjoyed watching this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel today and become a tourister, as we shall continue to bring you only the smoothest, the hottest, and the most talking points on African development, tourism, and entrepreneurship. See you in another video.